Welcome everyone to another episode of 10K Movies. Ryan, joined as always by Tom and GD. Fellas, how we doing?
Doing well. How you guys doing?
It's good to be back, boys.
Yeah, it's been a while. If anyone's been keeping track, I think a couple weeks now. As we left you guys, we were going to switch up the order a little bit of what we are going to see, but we saw Oppenheimer um, over that span. Back in the movies, felt good to be back. I did kind of just wanted to. I mean, we talked about it a little bit beforehand, but just kind of go over our theater experiences since. I mean, at least for me, it's been a while since I've been back in the theater. Um, and yeah, I don't know about you guys. So I know it was a big thing. What was it last year with Top Gun Maverick? Like theaters are back and everything. Tom Cruise saves movies and everything like that. But I think honestly, I think Oppenheimer and Barbie saved the movies. Like not me. I don't know if they need saving or not or whatever, but just like reinvigorated it because not only were my theaters packed, so I saw Oppenheimer Saturday night, the weekend it came out, and that was I don't know, it was like a 7-ish o'clock movie. And it was like just I don't think there was an empty seat in there, which was like the first time in a long time that's happened to me. And I don't know if you guys experienced this, but it was probably because I have to go to Regal cinemas, which is another thing I want to get into. But like when I was trying to book the tickets ahead of time, it had me in like a queue, like waiting. Which I experienced back when I was getting Star Wars tickets when that was coming out, and it was like weeks in advance. But like besides that, never had that. So I was like, oh yeah, you're to like help with traffic or whatever, like you just wait in here for like 5 minutes or whatever. I was like, never seen that. And that happened for both movies for me. I don't know if you guys experienced that. Was it like packed for you guys or what did you guys think?
Mine was packed. I went the Friday it opened. So we actually went and we go to AMC and there's like it's like a little not like I don't know how to describe it. Um, Little like mini mall, a strip mall, not really a strip mall, but it's like an area with like restaurants and shops and stuff. So we went out to eat and like half the restaurant was wearing like pink, like
Yeah.
got to the theater. There were like 6 or 7 theaters showing Barbie and one showing Oppenheimer. So that I thought was wild. Like I figured Barbie would do way better in the box office, which it has been. So that
But
didn't shock me, but I thought there'd be more like maybe 3 Oppenheimer theaters. But no, we had to watch it at like 9 o'clock, so it didn't end until like 12:30.
yeah.
But yeah, there was not like an empty seat in the house for ours. I mean, I know we saw the late show, but it was yeah, it was still packed to the brim. So ours was packed, but it was more Barbie centered, I would say, which I still haven't seen. But there was like Barbie like photo op stuff set up and everything. It was definitely geared to that crowd. But yeah, mine was packed house, but it was a good audience. There was nobody like on their phone or doing any of that stuff. So all in all, it was good. I was glad to see it was packed because that, like you said, I think Tom Cruise definitely did bring the theater experience back in a big way, but this kind of like blew the roof off of it. Of
Yeah.
like, this is a thing. Like this is how you could spend a weekend night. So, yeah, mine was pretty good. What about you, JD?
I agree. I think Top Gun was like kind of an appetizer, and now Barbie and Oppenheimer like the main course. People are like, "Oh
Yeah.
shit, I actually like going to the movies." They like forgot about it. But mine was wildly different because I went on a weekday at 11 o'clock, so no one was there. It was me, and then right before, like two people sat in the very front row. Um, I still love the movie experience. It was not Regal or AMC. It was like a standalone theater. I guess they have a sister chain, but whatever. So way different experience than you guys, but I still love being in the theater.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it. Like, I think it was a huge movie, and Tom Cruise. I mean, we've talked about it. Like, he is like maybe one of the last like few movie stars, quote unquote. Um, but it was also like kind of not that it was the only thing to watch at the time, but I just think these are well, at least Oppenheimer is a better movie in my opinion than that one was. So I think I don't know. I think it's just gonna like even build more momentum and everything with these later releases throughout the rest of the year, especially like that Leo movie with Scorsese. So
I was gonna
um,
bring up Dune 2,
and
and
Dune,
then
which
Killers of the
might get
Flowers Moon.
delayed, I guess. But
Yeah, new Hunger Games
oh no.
also getting a lot of hype. Well, both the movie. I saw. I don't know. I saw Barbie and Oppenheimer, and it was both the trailer for both of them. So,
Oh, I didn't. That one wasn't in
I didn't
my.
see it in mine. No.
oh,
Yeah,
saw it for
that's
both of
weird.
mine.
I have
Yeah.
seen it before. I did not in that. I had some. There was this one like just horror movie trailer that was just like scared the
Oh
hell out
yeah.
of me actually, and like
Is it
everyone was like scared in there.
the new Haunted Mansion?
Yeah, scary
I
how
think
bad it is.
I
I've
think
seen
I'm gonna
that like
see it.
4
I'm
times.
gonna see it.
It's
Yeah,
gotten
are you?
some
I've heard
pretty
it's
terrible
yeah.
reviews.
That's what I've
Oh,
heard.
it can't be good, but
Uh,
I'm gonna see it.
I kind of like the original. Eddie
I
Murphy,
like.
right? I think.
Yeah, it
I'm
was.
pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I
I
watched the
like that.
original like maybe 6 months ago or something. It still kind of terrifies me a little bit. I mean, maybe it's nostalgia when it terrified me as a kid, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, luck. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't see, any of those trailers. It was just kind of some weird ones. But I will say, as much as I do love theaters that are packed, especially where there's either like big moments in them, so you can like see how everyone else reacts, because like that's something I haven't had in a while. But I will say it was in my Barbie showing, and obviously, like I don't know if it's I wouldn't say it's like a kids movie, but were a lot of kids obviously, and like everyone, oh my god, the amount of pink. I saw it this Sunday. I thought like the pink thing would be, the diehards Friday and Saturday. I think it lasted like still like weeks after. I mean, I guess we're the second week in it, but I'm sure there's still people doing that. I mean, this one kid right behind us was he turned it into an interactive show by basically thinking he was part of the movie and was like responding to the actors and everything. Like they were like saying something that he would like answer, and I mean, it was a little much for me. But I will say, as annoying as that was, like it's still just nice to be back. But I think it also has to do with the Regal thing. Like I'm a huge AMC fan, and there are some like around. I mean, the Regal is just like so much closer, but I don't know. I don't know if you guys ever been to Regal or have a preference,
Too many
but I
times.
can't stand it.
When me and JD lived together, there's a Regal like a 2-minute walk from us. So that was the
Yeah.
first time I'd ever been to a Regal. And now the AMC I go to, we literally pass a Regal, and I just
Laugh at the
like
people
everybody. I'm
stuck
like,
in it.
yeah, I'm like, oh, I go to the theater on Clybourne, or like, oh, you go to the Regal. I'm like, yeah, I literally pass the Regal. I go like 2 blocks further, go to the AMC, and like, oh,
Spit on
okay,
it on the way to the actual
yeah,
theater.
I fucking wave to it on the way. But I don't know. I guess I never really thought of Regal as like a downgrade, but I do think like I don't know why the AMC name and experience just feels like it's like nicer and
It
and
is.
more enjoyable.
It
But
is. I'm an AMC guy.
It's
yeah, I
also
like.
It's got Coke products. Regal has Pepsi.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I
that's a
mean,
good point
that
too.
sucks.
that's
But
actually huge.
literally the worst thing about it, and it, I don't think they had it when you guys, still live there going to it. But there's this how every theater has like, I mean,
Trademark
what's it?
commercial.
Yeah, and like Maria Menounos or whatever with
Mm-hmm.
Nuvi. I think that's at like all
That's it.
theaters.
That's it.
But
Oh yeah, I was say it's definitely at mine.
and then I think AMC has the Nicole Kidman
Mm-hmm.
thing before everyone. So Regal
Intro
has
like right before.
yeah, Regal has their own, and it is the
Oh
most
boy.
fucking annoying shit ever. It's and I don't know if it's like making fun of people who like quote movies and everything, which like everyone does that, but it's these literally they had to find the most annoying people. I think that was like part of their job, and they just like quote movie quotes and everything. And they had this one guy, um, so him and his wife, like they're just like quoting movies the whole time, and then they are like looking for their friends. And if you guys have seen the Goonies,
Yeah.
Sloth, the guy in the basement or whatever, he's like, hey, you
Oh,
guys. Like
oh.
she says that to like her friends at their meeting, and then her husband, when they get up the seats, is just like Alan from The Hangover, and he's like, it's not a purse, it's a satchel. He says that thing, and it's like the most annoying thing you'll ever see. So I mean, count yourself lucky for, I mean, not going
That's
there
tough.
just in general, but like having to see that, it's bad. So that's the one thing I haven't missed about the movies. I will say that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that does sound tough. I will say I like the AMC experience better
I
for
mean,
sure. And like even like their like software is better. Like I have
Oh,
the
all of
app
it.
and it's like literally 2
Yeah.
clicks and you're in a movie and then you scan for rewards just like you would at like Chipotle. It's very smooth. I will
You're
say that's
you're a Stubbs member, right?
yep.
Yep.
22 bucks a month pays for itself.
I
That's why
think
it's like
Regal has that same thing. It's like 17, but honestly,
yeah.
it's. I mean, they should be giving it away at that point. Like, no one should have to go to that
I
franchise.
I was gonna say like having the AMC stubs though, I feel like obligated to see movies. Like you guys will never believe what movie I'm like considering seeing.
Is it out right
Gran Turismo.
now? No.
I thought for sure you were gonna say the Meg 2 that comes out
Oh
this
God,
weekend.
no! I can't do that.
I
I
don't even
can't
know if it's in
stoop that low.
theaters.
I'm pretty sure it is, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I've seen that trailer like 4 times, and every time I'm like, is
me
this
too.
a new like Jaws? Are they remaking
Basically.
Jaws?
It
And it's
basically is. Did
the
you ever see
Meg
the Meg
2.
1?
Hell
Nope.
no! I didn't even know there
Neither
was a
have I.
first one, and then they
Yeah.
started playing
Just
the trailer for the second.
Jason Statham just fighting a shark.
Yeah.
Sorry, a Meg.
I'm surprised that
Yeah,
like another spin-off of Fast and Furious, because I know he's like either Hobbs or Shaw. I don't know which one, but
yeah.
I feel like that could be like, I'm surprised he's not that same character in the Meg
They
movie.
pretty much is.
I think he's the same character in just about everything. he
Yeah,
does.
that's true.
Yeah, that's just like the
They just
shark
call him by the
fighting
same name and
version.
everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's hilarious. I mean, the Gran Turismo thing, it isn't cool.
Dear
I mean, I didn't
God.
know that was a real story or whatever. Like, that's fine, but it just
Right.
seems so freaking corny.
Oh yeah.
But I see your point. Like, you might as well. I mean, it's
Kind of
basically
have to.
free at
Like,
that point. So
not have to, but like might as well.
yeah,
It is.
Got
It
David
is.
Harbour.
It is free.
if you do
But
see it,
no,
let
the
us know
the
how
story
it is.
just looks wild.
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen
It's literally
Orlando
like the
Bloom in
best
something too in a long time.
20
Actually,
years.
that I can just remember. I mean, Pirates is like basically the only thing I know him from, but I know he's in some other stuff, but I haven't seen his face in forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, it's if it does well, maybe they'll make the football version. You know, best Madden player.
Yeah,
Just
that would
like
be
quarterback
hilarious.
like the
Actually,
Ravens.
it's like a 11-year-old kid,
Yeah, or gets
middle
to
linebacker.
coach a football team or
Yeah,
something.
Kurt Warner stealing him out of a grocery store.
Yeah, I guess that is, and he actually already made his movie, so it's kind of
Yeah.
ish the same.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, overall, good to have movies back at that grand scale. I'm sure we'll be going. I mean, Tom's probably gonna be going the most out of all of us. But even, I mean, I know there's some that I have on the list for sure. I'll be back
Agreed.
throughout the year. So yeah, I guess we'll update with any other weird situations that come up in those visits. But
And tell us what to watch if there's some movie that you
yeah,
either
Oh,
like
yeah.
or don't like.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
also true.
Give us a warning if we should
Yeah.
steer clear. But yeah, if you've been listening to us also this far, obviously we're gonna review Oppenheimer here, but also listen to a Billboard hits year every week. Since we haven't recorded in a few weeks, we're gonna be doing 2 today, and that was 1996 and 97 Billboard hits. So I guess we can kind of kick it off with our favorites here. I mean, I think I have skipped ahead a little bit, and I think this is just like awesome music. It's tough to pick a favorite. I don't know how you guys felt, but it's getting pretty tough to pick a favorite. Who wants to start? Tom, you saw Oppenheimer first, so how about you kick us off?
Sure. Yeah, these years are getting a lot better. We made our way through the trash of the 80s. God, those years were awful. So there is some payoff. We're finally getting there. 96, I'm going back with Bone Thugs and Harmony again, running it, double dipping with a song I think is actually better than First of the Month. It's The Crossroads. Excellent song. A tough choice. There was some really strong contenders, but going with The Crossroads for 96, and then I'll throw it over to Ryan. You want to go for yours? You saw it
Yeah.
second, and then we'll go
Sure.
back around the horn for 97.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping to go last here because I mean this is a guilty pleasure pick of mine for sure. Like you said, I mean there's great songs, but I love the song, I always have. It's it's by Sheryl Crow. It's called If It Makes You Happy.
That's a great song.
It's a great song. I mean, it's like kind of embarrassing to admit, but yeah, I love that song. So that was my pick. But I mean, you could have picked so many. But yeah, that's what I went with. How about you, Jay?
Are we doing snake draft? Am I doing 96 and 97 first?
Yeah, go for
Might
it.
as well.
All right. 96, I went with a classic, like when I think of like classic like hip hop music, this is one of the songs I think of. California Love, Tupac.
Yeah,
So love that song. It's like just when I think
Mhm.
of like classic hip hop. And then 97, I went with one of my all-time favorites as well, with Semi-Charmed Life.
yeah, that's what I went with too.
I
Damn, it's a sweep.
I
That's a
thought
sweep.
I saw that on there and
That's
I
a
was like,
sweep.
I think we might all choose this
Yeah,
one.
I will.
I
That's in my top 20 favorite of all
I was
time.
gonna say that's
Love
one of my
that song.
all-time favorite songs. So
It's a
That
great
was
song.
an easy click for me, but there were so many other good ones too.
I-
But like that was easy pick for me.
Yeah, I agree.
mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Is that the
That's one of my
second
one
Third
of my
Eye
favorites ever.
Blind? No, it's not. We swept on Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think.
Oh, Under the
Yeah,
Bridge,
Under
right?
the Bridge, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another
So
good
second
songs.
sweep, different band.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're huge the rest of for the next like 5 years. Third Eye Blind is at least.
Yeah.
They'll
But
be
that's
popping up again.
that's why I
Yeah.
wanted the snake draft, because I thought for sure someone else had it. And I
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Good call.
Yeah. Love that song. Love the band. But yeah, I think not much else to say there. It's a great song. Obviously, we all picked it. So I think I don't know. Do you guys want to do two next week as well, or and then
think-
kind of
Good.
end
think
it
we-
with, or not end it, but like then we'll start like back to one with 2000 since it
Yeah, that works.
new
for
century
me.
or whatever. Okay, cool. So yeah, well, I guess we'll do 90, 98 and
98,
99
99. Yeah.
And yep.
for next time we record. So yeah, if you guys want to keep following along with us, give those a listen. And yeah, we'll talk about that next week. And now, yeah, I guess that brings us to the main event, which is Oppenheimer. Like Tom said, I think Barbie definitely made more money, but this is like made a shit ton of money too.
Mhm.
And it was, I think like the projection, it was like 70 opening weekend or whatever. I think it got to 100. I could be wrong on that, just for the opening weekend though. But yeah, I mean, this has made waves. Seems like pretty good reviews all the way around. I guess I can start. Well, no, Tom, you saw it first, so you get first dibs here on kind of what you thought and scores. I can pull up our scores here. So yeah, if you want to kick us off, I guess with the synopsis too.
Yep. I can do
Feel
that.
free.
Sure. So we got Oppenheimer. Honestly, if you don't know what it's about, you actually might live under a rock. The story of American scientist J. Robert Oppenheimer and his role in the development of the atomic bomb. So, not on streaming, in theaters, as we mentioned, exclusively. This movie, I was so hyped for it. It was not quite what I expected, but then it also, like, in a way, it was a lot of what I expected. It was very, very like nuanced movie. I feel like it was very like heavy. Just obviously from, you can imagine, the guy that created the atomic bomb and basically ravaged the country. I liked it. I thought it was I thought it was good. I gave it an 85. I think there's a lot to unpack here. So I'm really excited to talk about it. I think it's just an really interesting movie and like really interesting time in history. So I think it's I'm excited to talk about it. I think I definitely need to rewatch it because we'll dive in more, but I think it's definitely rewatchable. It is long. But yeah, I liked it. I've got it at a really solid 85. So Ryan, I think you're up next. I'll kick it over to you.
Yeah. Pretty much echo everything you said. I mean, it did go. I mean, to be fair, I didn't know anything about Oppenheimer, didn't know Einstein was involved in this at all. That was an interesting surprise. Obviously know like the end result, but it was, interesting to see how everything unfolded. I like these type of movies that I mean, I don't know, biopics, if you want to call them that, like, and especially with Christopher Nolan, big fan of him. So was interested to see what he did. And I think he delivered. Like, I haven't really stopped thinking about this movie since. Like, it's really stuck with me. And usually those I have pretty high, which I have this pretty high, a little higher than you, Tom. Do want to get into it a lot, but I will say it was a little long. I mean, it's 3 hours, but so I don't know, like rewatchability standpoint, if it is the most rewatchable, I will at some point, but also like I don't think it's going to hit as hard on not a big screen, if that
Yeah.
makes sense too. So, but all that aside, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think this is maybe I would like if someone said this is his best movie besides Dark Knight, like I wouldn't disagree necessarily. It's not my favorite in that. Like I still have like I think 5 ahead of this one, but in terms of just like best, like well written and everything, like it might be. So I went with an 88 out of 100. Really liked it. Honestly, it was kind of just like the length and some things here and there that kept it from getting higher, but I was a big fan. So yeah, 88. How about you, Jay?
So echo some of the things you guys said. It was long, but like I was pretty involved like the whole time. Like like I could, I'm trying to phrase this. Like I could feel that it was long, but like I was very like captivated the entire time. So I didn't
Mhm.
really care about the length. And I came in a little higher than you guys at a 92, and I'll start to unpack some of it.
Go for
But
it.
one, I love the cast. Like you talk about the cast, and like Remy Malek's in it, and like he's like not even like the top 5 most seen actors in it. Um, and then there's the dude from Planet of the Apes and Mudbound. I forget his name. He was the
Jason Clark.
yeah, Jason
Yeah,
Clark.
he's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, like there's so many like just like actors that have like well-established careers in this movie, and I loved it. And then second off, like Christopher Nolan's usually pretty good with this anyway, but the visuals, both of like the bomb, and like at the beginning when he's thinking about like the stars and like imploding, like I just thought the visuals were like insane. And then like you guys mentioned, like it was very well written. It's like a biography, like it's based on a true story. So overall, I just like love this movie.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I mean, yeah, it's high score, like overall 88 for average. I think that's right on par. I will say, yeah, it's like the cast is insane. It's just like a new person, like, oh, I forgot they're in this. Like every
Yeah.
other, not every other minute, I would say, but just like throughout the whole thing, like you said, Rami Malek, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, has what, like 10, 15 words.
Yeah.
And he's like still is like a huge part of it, and kind of, I wouldn't say steals the show, but has like a very impactful part in the whole story, and he doesn't really even talk much.
Yeah, I
um
agree.
but it was cool. Yeah, I mean, just like everyone in it, the acting was insanely good. I thought. I think Killian's got the Oscar locked up. I mean,
Mhm.
it's still kind of, I mean, we're only halfway throughout the year, but I don't know how he doesn't win it for Best Actor. I think this will be nominated for sure for Best Picture. I don't know if it will win it. It could. I think it has a strong case for sure, but I think there's still some towards the tail end of the year that might give it a run for its money. But yeah, I echo everything you just said there. I mean, just specifically with the acting, cast, and everything, I think that was like a 10 out of 10. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, similar to what you said, Ryan. I've been thinking about this movie quite a bit. I've been watching a lot of just YouTube clips of like interviews with the cast and stuff like that, and like hearing their reactions the first time they read the script and like how they were blown away. And like to your point, too, JD, it was just like, oh yeah, like you know Robert Downey Jr.'s in it, but then you see him and you're like, in the context, like, oh shit, like that's Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
And then like Jason Clarke, that was the other one. I was like, isn't that you know what's his name from uh what the logo, Jerry West in
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Showtime. I
I
was like,
forgot
oh,
about that too, honestly.
right. So I was like, that's it was a crazy cast. I think we talked about it being long. Same as you, JD, I didn't really mind the length of it, aside from the fact that I thought the first hour was like painstakingly boring. But again, I think part of that is just because we've talked about this with Nolan's movies before. It's like I'm not smart enough to comprehend this fast enough. Like the highest level of science class I took was like zoology. That is
Yeah.
that is not physics
Yeah,
or
this was not covered in the.
yeah. So they're talking. I'm like hydrogen. All right, what does hydrogen do? Like they're talking about it like lightning fast of like hydrogen compressing to create all this stuff, and I'm just like, I needed that like I need like a minute to comprehend like 10 seconds of dialogue, and when it was really because it started out it was really scientific. I felt like, um, and there there's a lot of characters, things like that, but same thing. I didn't know anything about Oppenheimer and his life, kind of on purpose in order to like really be surprised by this movie. I thought Oppenheimer or Einstein was involved in the A bomb, which he really isn't based in the movie. Like he's around, but I thought he like actively worked on it too, um, which he didn't. But it was kind of crazy. Like you do hear some really familiar names, like you hear Heisenberg,
Yeah.
Walter
Yeah.
White's alias, who was working on it on the Nazi side. So it was kind of crazy. I definitely didn't know anything about like the communist thing, which ended up being like
Either.
honestly a huge part of the story.
Oh, yeah.
Because really what I expected was this movie about, guy that made the A bomb. I like history. I like World War II. So I understand like how crazy that is, but I thought it was going to be a lot about like the moral angle of it, of like, do we do it? Do we not? And so in that regard, it was less about that than I expected. But that was also a pivotal part too, because you see in his years afterwards, he really, obviously he's haunted and struggling, because there's the two sides. But it's like scientifically, I was kind of reading up on this too. It's like scientifically, this is the highlight of his life. This is like breaking down, like almost creating a new field, basically. Like this is like the pinnacle of your career. But like the flip side of that is he just, he's basically responsible for killing like 100,000 people. So it's
Yeah.
really interesting, like dichotomy. I think that like Nolan, it was shot really well. It was obviously the acting was amazing. I think I agree with Cillian Murphy. I think this might have been like his first leading role, and I think I think he crushed it. I think he should be the best actor, but I think that part was really interesting. Like it was a heavy movie. It wasn't like necessarily like a fun watch, like a joyful watch. It was like you kind of feel like the pain of Oppenheimer, of like holy shit, and like everything that went on with I think Jean is her name.
Yeah. Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
Florence Pugh, like
Yeah.
while he was, while they were in like Los Alamos, like while he was, because he's basically like a CEO too. He's like an amazing scientist, but he's basically like the CEO of like the biggest project in American history, or like world
Yeah.
history, really. So I thought it was really fascinating in that regard. Those are just kind of some initial takeaways, I guess, from like Oppenheimer as a character and the progression of the story a little bit.
And like, I'm glad you brought up like the history aspect, because like I would say it's probably the most influential invention ever, the atomic
Hmm.
bomb. Because like obviously there's other things like wheels and stuff. You can go back to like the beginning of time and like just like the pulley, or like Ford's, the way they ran shops and shit.
Assembly line.
Yeah, assembly line. I
Yeah.
can't think of it. But and you could
Mhm.
argue all of those, but like this literally has a global presence for peace or destruction. And I don't know what you guys think. I think the world will probably end by nuclear war, but that's probably just a dark thought. But I think it's
Hopefully though,
yeah,
or
but
aliens.
or aliens, which apparently they're real.
Yeah.
But yeah, to go along with that, Tom, I love the history aspect. There's some of it I read up on more after, like Alfred Nobel. Like I never
Mhm.
even thought about where Nobel Prize came from, and I
Right.
didn't realize he created dynamite either. And I don't know
Yeah, I
why I
didn't know
thought
that.
dynamite was around from like the 1400s. It was like
Oh yeah.
1860 something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. You
yeah,
literally
I
think of
always
like
thought it was
Bugs
Wiley. Yeah,
Bunny, Wile E.
Wiley.
Coyote. Yeah.
yeah.
But,
No, I just thought I was
Uh,
always around.
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I love the history aspect, and I love anything where I'll read afterwards, like about the movie, and I'll learn more
Mhm.
about like the whole story and stuff.
Yeah. Like
And it's really well done too.
yeah, you're reading like Wikipedia for like the true story, and then you like it lines up directly. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like you always heard about like the atomic bomb, and you just kind of assumed everybody had them, and it was always out. Like you didn't realize like this is the only time this has ever happened, and like this literally didn't exist. Like it was an arms race for like the most powerful weapon of all time, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. And like I really like that whole like destroyer of worlds thing. Like that was like
Oh yeah.
the common theme.
Beginning.
Yeah, from like
Mhm.
Oppenheimer's like books that he read. Um, yeah, it was really interesting from that point of view. Like, and just his whole life, like the whole communist thing, like that was obviously pretty crazy. Like the history part of like the senator, like Robert Downey Jr.'s character, Truman, all that type of stuff was pretty wild.
Yeah, fucking Truman. Oh my god. They
Scumbag.
just calling him
Oh, yeah.
like a little bitch. Uh,
Yeah.
and like, I mean, that was wild. Like, I was not expecting that. I was like, God damn, Gary Old. I mean, like, that's another guy. Like, I
I
forgot
was
he
gonna
was
bring
in
that
it.
up.
I was like, and he kind of killed it for just that second. But
Yeah, for that one
yeah,
scene.
I mean, what the fuck, Truman? It's like that was crazy. I was just not expecting that to come
I
out of
think
his
you
mouth.
have to be wired that way to be like a president, which is crazy.
Yeah,
It's like Oppenheimer obviously is a scientist, not a politician, but he kind of gets like a peek behind the curtain there where he's like, oh shit, that's how you think.
cutthroat.
Wait,
Right.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
like
glad
proud
you
of it too. He's like shaking his hand. Like,
yeah.
you're on Time Magazine.
Right.
It's like, yeah, buddy,
uh
that's not really my concern.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up Gary Oldman because does he look the same in any movie? Like, I don't think I
No.
would
Well, he
notice him on
kind
the
of
street.
looks like Churchill in this. Like, well, I never saw Churchill. I just saw the poster, but I
Yeah,
feel like he kind of looks like maybe kind of similar. But besides
yeah.
that, yeah, he does look different. Like, what's
Like
that
if you
one?
go like Sirius
Leon.
Black, Commissioner Gordon, like this, like I feel like they're just three
Yeah.
different guys. Like it's not Gary
Yeah.
Oldman.
You guys should see True Romance. He literally has like dreadlocks and like gold, like a gold tooth. And I read something and Gary Oldman was like, he saw the script because I think Tarantino wrote it, and he was like, yeah, I want that role. Like I want to wear dreadlocks or like have dreadlocks and do whatever. Because I think he kind of embraces that. Like he just
Oh, is that the one with Woody Harrelson?
no, that's
Uh,
you're probably thinking of Natural Born Killers.
yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Because that's
Uh,
Tarantino too, I think, right?
I think he wrote I think he wrote that
Well, he
one
was like a
too.
part of it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. That's a wild movie if you ever watch that.
I would like to. I heard it's good.
It is good. It's just it's weird and wild.
Yeah. What's the other one we watched? Like one of the first movies you ever watched, like
Leon.
Leon the
Leon.
Professional.
Yeah,
Like
Oh,
he's
he's
in,
in
Leon.
yeah,
that.
he's different
Yeah.
in that
Oh
too.
yeah, forgot
Yeah.
about that too. Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
also a
Yeah. That is a
phenomenal
good
movie.
point, Jay. Because like, I mean, he's really good. I don't. Did he win for Churchill? Did he win an Oscar for that?
Was
That's a
that
good question.
the Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy?
No, I thought it was just called like Churchill or something.
Darkest Hour.
Or
Darkest
Darkest
Hour.
Hour. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
actually
just
don't know
looked
if
it
he
up.
won for that.
I don't know.
But because my point is like if he hasn't won, like I mean he's just a very good actor, right? Like
I
he
like him a lot.
really,
Yeah.
led in anything I guess besides Darkest Hour, but that I can think of at least. Um, but yeah, no, I mean he's good. I mean it was just a star-studded cast. People are saying Downey Jr. is gonna win Best Supporting Actor, which like he was really good. I could see maybe like someone beating him in another movie, I guess. I mean, I don't know, nothing that I've seen so far, but I think he was really good. I would love to see him in even more movies. Like I know like Iron Man's basically been his career, which
Yeah.
so I don't know how like he should have won something for that. Because like he's literally perfect in that role, but that takes up like so much time, like to do other stuff. I know he was in Zodiac and he's really good in that.
What's
Obviously,
he's in a lawyer one, right? Or the judge or something?
he is in that. Yep,
Oh.
he's in
Due date.
Due Date, which he was
Due
actually
Date.
funny
Zach
in that.
Galifianakis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I would just like to see. I mean, now that he's done with Marvel, hopefully, you can see him in more stuff. So
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. I was gonna say it was good to see him in like a different role. Like
Yeah.
not taking anything away from like Iron Man, but it was just good to see him in like acting in a in a standalone movie, and he was really good. I felt like the same with Matt Damon. Like I feel like I hadn't seen Matt Damon in like a ton, and then he was in Air and this one.
Yeah.
And I really like Matt Damon, and I thought his performance was really good in this one too.
That's it
Oh
too.
yeah,
His character was like kind of shady, I feel like, but
kind of a comic relief in this. I mean, heavy of a movie.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know who else was an award winner that was in this too that I didn't know was Casey Affleck.
Yeah, I forgot
Just-
about him too.
He
yeah.
kind of just randomly showed up, and I was
Yeah.
like, when they had the voice, I was like, I feel like I recognize that voice, and I don't know
Same,
who it
yeah.
is. And then they panned him, and I was like, oh no shit.
Yeah.
Who was he again? I forget. I remember.
He was the guy that he was
He was like
some
investigating the
commies,
commies,
and
right?
he was like, yeah, he was like,
Oh, he was one of the guys questioning him, right? Or like one of the
yeah,
lawyers.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
no, not
Uh,
the lawyer. He was
no,
like
he was a
he
part of
like
the military.
yeah, and he was like silenced people. They were like kind
Yeah,
of alluding to like
he was the one that wanted to take the one guy out on a boat in the middle of the night and like do
Oh
it
yeah.
Russian style.
Oh
and
yeah, he was like the lieutenant or whatever.
yeah,
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 Sorry,
he was
yeah.
he was a hard
Dude,
ass, for
he was
sure.
hilarious. Yeah. That's
Um,
funny.
but yeah, I mean, this cast just keeps giving.
It's actually
Yeah.
nuts. Like
Yeah.
actually looking at it, it's crazy.
Well, I
There's
feel
the-
like there's some directors, Nolan for sure being one, probably like Tarantino, Scorsese. I'm
If you just
forgetting
ask, they'll
some.
join.
Yeah, exactly. Like they'll
Yeah.
they'll do anything to just go in there. So
Yeah.
must be nice to have that like pull to do that. But I mean, yeah, it was just like endless in this.
Yeah.
It was cool to see.
That is kind of crazy because you got to think of like a a younger or like a kind of a no name like writer or director like I've seen on Twitter like old like Tarantino scripts when he did like Pulp Fiction or Reservoir Dogs. He's like, this would be a great for this actor, and it's like it's crazy because at that time he has no pull. So it's like almost like one of us writing a movie and being like, oh, this role would be great for Matt Damon, but it's like, but then when I watch these Oppenheimer videos, like every single person's like, oh, like Chris sent me the script. It's like Christopher Nolan is so respected that it's like he kind of just has a pick of the litter, or like a Scorsese when his movie's coming out. It's like those guys can just call up like DiCaprio or whoever they want. Like, hey, here's a script. You want it? And like if they're not busy, they'll probably do it. Just
Even if they are busy, they'll still probably do it.
right. Yeah, it is a good perk to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, there was 3 scenes that I just thought were like incredible. First one, obviously, like the test of that going off, like it was like building up, obviously, to like most of the movie to that, and when that just thing goes off, it's also like when they were doing the smaller test and those explosions were going off, like you see it blow up, but then like the sound is delayed and then it like comes through. I thought that was like really cool, which I don't know if that like is how it happens or whatever, but that was really cool, like feel in the theater. But then when it does it on the actual test and you just see it and you like it goes like everyone's perspective and then you still don't hear anything and then boom, like I jumped, like a lot of people in my theater did. Like that was cool. I love that. The scene where I mean, I wouldn't say I mean, it was just like the most haunting scene is when he's in the courtroom, not courtroom, but kind of like a lecture hall,
like a high school auditorium or whatever, when they're like chanting his name.
Yeah, and when like you realize like the sound and like score from the movie has been these, the foot stomping and everything the whole time, and like that was like, oh, holy fuck. And then when everything just goes quiet and then he like hears it or like the screams and everything, and then like that
The girl they kept showing.
which apparently is Christopher Nolan's daughter. I saw
Really?
that. I don't quote me on that, but I think that might be true. But yeah, like that was going on. I was like, holy shit, like this is insane. I thought that was like obviously it's very heavy and sad and everything, but I thought that was like the best scene in terms of just like I haven't seen anything really like this in a movie before, like all of those elements. I thought that was awesome too.
I mean, I completely agree. I'm glad you brought up like just the audio and visual combined with like half the scenes they had. Like I love
Yeah.
like you already brought it up, but the scene where right when it goes off and everything goes quiet and you just hear like breathing for the
Yeah.
most part. Like and then all of a sudden it all hits. Also that well, it wouldn't be that drastic, but light travels faster than sound, so you would hear it a little like
Yeah.
but not as drastic as they made it in the movie. But yeah, I just thought that was so sick. Just the way it was all put together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the same with that scene you were talking about where like he's being celebrated, like he's like a national hero, right when it
Hmm.
'cause it ends the war. Um, like the biggest war, I don't know, in history at that time. I honestly don't know, but either way, huge conflict, obviously. Like, um, and then you just see like that's when it kind of clicked with me, like, yeah, this is a dark ass movie. Like this is like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
guy's got like a honestly kind of a fucked life where it's like it is like these tremendous highs, but it's like really dark. Like I don't know. That'd be pretty difficult to live with. Like knowing that you were kind of like the mastermind behind that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was like actually like when you take like the morality out of it, it was like literally the most groundbreaking achievement, like amazing, like pushed his field further, kind of like Einstein did too. But then the flip side of it is like, and they alluded to it, like Einstein kind of even told him like, this is something you have to like live with the consequences, or like,
Mm.
now they live in like the atomic world and all that they talked about. So, um, yeah, that scene was pretty crazy. Like it was almost like hard to watch because it's like, fuck, like imagine that being you, like that'd
Yeah.
be that'd be tough.
Oh yeah.
It'd be tough to like live your day to day, especially when you're like basically I think they talked about it, like the most famous person in the country. Um, but I also wanted to ask you guys what you thought about it too with, with Oppenheimer, like as he's like developing the A bomb and like they're getting closer and like those other scientists that he worked for, like they were in like the Chicago, I don't know,
Oh
field
yeah.
office or whatever, and they were doing like the petition to not get the A bomb launched. And Oppenheimer like kind of just I feel like he kind of just skates by with it. Like, do you think that's a little bit of like, I kind of saw that as like a little bit of ego where it's like he wanted to show that he could do this and that he basically was capable of it and he kind of disregarded it because even when they had the meeting with, I don't think it was the president, but it was like some of the highest up in the military. They were talking about like set, like do it or not do it. And he like literally for like a second mentioned like, oh, there's like a couple scientists that signed a petition. And then he like quickly changed the subject so that like I feel like in his head he could be like, oh yeah, I mentioned that there's a petition, but like he
Mhm.
didn't actually like fight for it. I don't know if you guys caught that or if you just kind of thought it was just kind of the flow of the movie or what.
I mean, I completely agree. I think he skirted the line of both sides because, like, obviously, in doing it, like a lot of people are gonna die,
Mm-hmm.
which, like you said, morally, that's a lot to grapple with. But on the flip side, you're like the king of science, like of like
Right.
whatever it would be, physics, quantum physics, or whatever. And I think you can kind of see him like battling with that a little bit, but like, I think he definitely wanted to do it. Like, he wanted the
Yeah.
fame and stuff, but he has the failsafe of like, if we don't do it, the Nazis will. So it's like he always
Yeah.
had like the perfect excuses of why not to or why to do it, even though like a lot of people will die.
Because like even his
Yeah.
one friend, like he was trying to recruit his friend and he's like completely against it. And then yeah,
Yeah,
Oppenheimer was like, well, if we don't do it, like, the Nazis will or the Russians will. And it's like,
Probably
part
true.
of that's probably
probably
true.
is true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I thought the way I interpreted it was like Oppenheimer's ego was as like a scientist was kind of being propelling him forward. And like maybe part of it too was he's like, I'm the boss. Like all these people gave their literally, I think it was like 2 or 3 years of their lives to live in this, community. Like it'd be a disservice to them if we didn't do it. But I thought it was honestly like the ego of him of like I could literally be like the greatest scientist of all time if I pull this off.
Yeah.
That
And he's scientific minded in a new field too, so it probably is part of it, like just straight exploration. Like, how far will this go? Like, can we actually do it, kind of thing. Like, and he's a theoretical guy more than anything, but wants to know what can actually be done.
Yeah, like, he was like theoretical and he put it in practice. And like that was the other thing. It's like, is it like gonna go off? Is it gonna have like the effects that they thought? So like, I mean, the fact that it did for them was like a huge success. Um, it was just, it's a lot. Like it's a very heavy subject. And I mean, if Oppenheimer didn't live in that day and age, like, would he have ever done this, or would he have ever been like pushed to do something even close to this? Probably not.
Well, and you'll probably like this, Tommy, because I know how much you love AI. I know the CEO of OpenAI who created ChatGPT
Oh yeah,
has
I
talked
forget
about
his name.
Sam Altman.
Sam Altman. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I know he's talked about one, how dangerous it is, how he doesn't fully trust like AI in general. Like, I think he's even trying to put like regulations on like stopping it, or I know Elon Musk has too, but I'm pretty sure it's because he wants to get ahead in the field. Um, but
Slow down, guys.
Yeah.
slow down. Yeah. But I know like he's talked about like the repercussions of like people losing jobs, saying like AI can do it better, and he's talked about
Right.
just like how dangerous it could be to have AI running literally everything,
Right.
and that's probably the closest to the A bomb as far as like revolutionary change. I mean, it's gonna
Yeah.
take a way longer for it to just change the world than just dropping it somewhere, but
Right.
like that'd be the modern
I
day. Like,
I think that's pretty true. I mean, you look at like the strike in Hollywood, like the big
Yeah.
concern from the Hollywood writers is like they're just gonna have AI write all the scripts. And it's
yeah,
like, that's honestly like,
They
yeah,
haven't
that
even
is a
like
concern.
act in a way like they could use like what's already been filmed and everything, and then just use it like for the voice and like all that,
Yeah.
and like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
I
It is
know.
like
Oh,
oh sorry, JD.
you go for it.
I was just gonna say, like, I was listening to Bill Burr, who, like, you know, he dabbles in acting obviously too, and he was talking about the same thing where he's like, they could use AI. It's like you get an extra one time, and then they'll just use AI, so they'll never have to pay an extra again. I'm like, damn. But like, people in businesses, people go to like any measures to save money, so I guess
And
it
I
makes
know,
sense.
I think it's a Black Mirror episode too, where they're trying to
It's
basically like,
literally that's basically the same thing.
yeah, they basically buy you, and then like you just do some lines and stuff, and then they just have AI generate all of it, the rest. Like, you don't have to do anything anymore, which is
Just crazy
weird.
that that just came out and like all this is happening.
Yeah, so it's all around just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that is scary.
yeah, it's weird to think about. And I know some
Mm,
company, I forget what company it was, but some guy said they're cutting like 80% of their customer service budget because they're just gonna have AI do it. And they said AI does
yeah,
it just as effectively with like literally like a fourth of the cost.
yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
hmm Yeah, that is nuts. Um, but yeah, overall, I mean, I'm glad we all saw this, and I'm glad we all are in the same boat, that we all thought it
Yeah.
lived up. I mean, we've got it ranked pretty much the same as IMDb. We just got it at 8.7, which is pretty crazy high, honestly.
Yeah. It's in great company on our list too.
Yeah.
Saw that.
It's just an interesting pairing it's with.
Two
It's
animated movies. Or no, sorry, not the other one, not the top
yeah.
one.
Spider-Man No Way Home. It's tied with, and then right below it's Mulan. So
But it's also tied with Top Gun Maverick and 21 Jump Street,
that's that
which is
too.
just
Yeah, I
oh,
didn't even see
just
that.
a
Top Gun
wild
Maverick.
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Which one saved the
I
theater,
know,
really?
right? That's crazy.
I mean, Top Gun Maverick was great. I love that.
But I
I
think
think we.
Well,
Oh,
one
go ahead,
quick.
JD.
I was just saying, I
All
think
right.
Oppenheimer might be in like my top 10 of all time. I might have to redo some of my others. Like, I
Damn.
love this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it was really. I mean, and I will say, I loved how, like I know, like I saw it with Alyssa, and she didn't love how it was going back like black and white, and then like just jumping timelines
I
basically
actually
like
love the
that.
black and
I
white. I
liked
thought
it
that was
I
cool
liked
as
it.
because
hell.
it led up to that final hour, which was just all
So
figuring out
intense.
the court case and everything, and it was like it felt like I was on the edge of my seat, and that was like my favorite part. It was like the most tense and everything. Like it wasn't an action movie or anything, but it kind of felt like, this is like the most suspenseful part and everything. I loved that. And I liked how, they tease it kind of, obviously. And then they also were teasing that Einstein said, or what he said to Einstein before Einstein like gave
Yeah.
Downey
Uh-huh.
Jr. the stink eye basically on the way out. But
Oh yeah, yeah.
he does reveal it. That was the third scene I was talking about. Like I loved how it ended. I thought that was like perfect ending. How he just leaves him with that face, and now it's like memed nonstop. It seems like, but
Yeah, it is.
I love that. And I was just gonna say, like, I don't know if there's ever been a movie to sweep best picture, best um like lead actor and lead actress. I don't know if that's ever happened, but
I have no idea.
It'd probably be pretty hard. I mean, if I had to guess anything, it'd be Return of the King because it won like 9. But
well, I wouldn't. I guess it wouldn't have one act. I don't think that one for actor
I
at least.
I don't think it did. I don't think it.
But
Yeah,
I guess like I don't know if you can also have an actor and lead actress win in the same movie because that
it's
it
kind of
probably wouldn't
hard.
count it as the same lead. But my point is like this might win actually like four, but it could win best actor, best supporting actor, and supporting actress, and then picture like because I think Emily Blunt's
That's
gonna
for
get some like love for this for sure. Like I don't know if I thought she was really good, maybe not the best mom, but I think she was really good in it. But that would be wild if like that happened. Like I doubt it's won. Obviously, Return of the King has won like
well,
for
like
other things, but
9 or
just like
something.
the actors
Yeah,
in general. I don't know if that's ever happened from just one movie, but it's gonna be an interesting like awards thing with this in the mix. I don't know. I think it's gonna be tough to top with the rest of the ones coming out
yeah.
the rest of the year.
I don't know. Margot Robbie might just win Best Lead Actress because Barbie got so much hype.
I actually think she might. I mean, I don't know what the other movies are
It just
that would
don't
have
see
lead
how.
actress, but I feel like she might win it.
Oh, we could talk about Barbie another time because I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah. Once you see it, Tom, if you do see it, I feel like
Yeah.
you have to kind of just because you
I
get the stubs, but
I know. I feel like I need to. That or Gran Turismo. So we'll see.
yeah, I think Barbie's gonna be in the theater. Like honestly,
For
it's
like
I
3 months till
well, no, I was
Christmas.
gonna say I think it still might outpass or outlive Gran Turismo. So
Yeah, and it's
Oh,
even
probably.
though it came out
Gran
later,
Turismo might get a week.
yeah,
I actually better see that opening night.
and I think
right.
Snooze you lose on that one.
Barbie's already at like 800 million or something, so they'll probably drag that out to get, all the hype of being, billion
Yeah, try
club
to
and
get
like
billion.
top
Yeah,
5 and all that.
Yeah, like Top Gun Maverick was in there forever. Avatar was in there forever.
Top
So
Gun
yeah,
Maverick was in theaters for literally like the whole year.
like 6 months.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
it was great. I think
Yeah.
like because I think with Top Gun Maverick, like that was the first like you could go back to the theater, but like nothing was like dragging you to do it. So I think that was the first one that was like, okay, I actually want to see this movie and I have to go see it
Yeah.
here. Now
yeah,
I feel like we've been going back to theaters for a little while, and it just so happened that like two huge movies were on the same day. So it's like I think it's a little bit different because people were already going back, but it was just like it kind of cemented like, oh yeah, this is why you do go.
Yeah.
Um and why you do like the double header too. Like a lot of people did the double headers. So
yeah,
And it does make sense why movies are starting to come out more because like 2021, like even actors in production had to stop for
yeah.
yeah.
COVID regulations and stuff.
Yep.
So about 2 years from that time frame, so big projects coming out.
Yep. And it could get thrown off even more if these strikes keep going on. So
Yeah, that's true.
could be back to not watching anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be
Just
Uh,
interesting to see.
I got plenty
mhm.
on my list I need to catch up with anyway.
Yeah, I can always
Sure,
watch
yeah.
I always watch old stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean that's kind of Oppenheimer. I was gonna say Barbenheimer, Jesus Christ. Oppenheimer in a nutshell. Yeah, good movie. I mean, if you haven't seen it already, I think we all recommend seeing it for sure.
Wait, did you guys, when they were going like, Oppie, Oppie, I
No,
was just thinking of
honestly,
Wolfie, Wolfie.
oh, there's one
Like,
more thing I also wanted to say in this.
Oppie,
That's
Oppie.
hilarious. Uh, when I've seen, I'm gonna use a direct, and I can't give the person credit for saying this, but it's funny because it was Nolan both times, but basically giving JFK a Robin-esque in like the Dark Knight Rises like reveal. Like when we're talking about JFK's like they
Yeah,
alluded to him or whatever, like from or wherever he's from, and then
Boston,
yeah, John
Yeah,
F. Kennedy or what, and then they said
yeah.
it like
Massachusetts. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
like
yeah,
some junior senator from
yeah.
nowhere or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
They just like
what
left
was
it
his
at
name?
that, and then they just like reveal like basically how like Joseph Gordon-Levitt reveals like he's Robin or whatever in that
Yeah,
Dark Knight Rises. I saw someone like say like it was just like that, and that's exactly how it was. I didn't like deduct for that or anything, but I was like, that's it's just
yeah.
kind of
I
interesting how they
feel
do it.
like directors kind of play like they put little like nuggets in there from their old movies and stuff too. So he might have done that on purpose and like
Yeah,
thought
Yeah,
it was a cool little nod to it. So
like a little quip.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Um,
that
and
was
then the
funny.
only other thing I have to say about this movie, and it has nothing to do with the movie, is every time I hear about Albert Einstein, even though I know he died in like the 50s, I feel like he was
Oh,
in like the 1700s
Dude,
every
I
single
know.
that's
time.
what I'm
I
saying
actually couldn't
too.
believe they lived in the same time.
Yeah.
Like, you think he was
Oh,
like? I thought he was like old chums with like Galileo. They were
dude,
like
Yeah,
I thought he was
dropping
like hanging out.
apples to each other,
right.
like
I thought they were hanging out with like Edison, like flying a kite and stuff.
like
Yes.
Ben
Like,
Franklin. Like,
yeah,
That's what I was saying because I saw him in the trailer. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, is this
every
just gonna
single
be like
time.
he's like seeing Einstein like in visions or whatever? And
Just
no, he
hanging
just
out with
like
him.
lived there.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I did think that like Einstein was involved in the atomic bomb. Like, so I guess I shouldn't have been that shocked, but it is still weird. It's just like they live in like the age of like color pictures, or it's like I feel like Albert Einstein should be a like only black and white. Like I
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
also don't realize like how old he was. Like I can look it up now, but he
He's like in his
was
70s or something.
yeah, it looks like he was like in his 70s when he died. Um, yeah, 76, which I think is pretty good for like that day and age.
Yeah. That's
He was
probably
only
like
born,
probably above the life expectancy in back then.
I think so. Born in 1879, passed away in 1955. That's pretty good run.
Um, the craziest thing I've ever thought about, it was a tweet, and someone tweeted like Rosa Parks died in like the early 2000s, so there's a good chance she saw Shrek, and I'm like, I don't know why that just doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah,
Like that is just wild to
Wild.
think about.
that
That is
is
wild.
bizarre to think about
Yeah,
actually.
just like think about
Oh,
like
she did. I
those.
mean, I love Shrek, but
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, I love Shrek.
interesting. Never thought she would have been
Yeah.
even close to that.
Right. That is wild. But yeah, that was a good one. I'm glad we all got to check it out in theaters too.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, next week, I mean, we said this last time we recorded, we switched the order, so we'll be watching Dunkirk, which is another Nolan movie next week. So maybe we
Another
can,
World
like,
War II movie too.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
we can kind of rank Nolan movies or something at that point. But so yeah, we'll be watching Dunkirk for next week. So feel free to revisit that or watch for the first time, like myself, before then. So we'll be diving into that, see where that falls. But yeah, besides that, I know it's been a while since we have recorded. So what else have you guys been watching in the background? Tom, I think you started a new show if you want to fill everyone
Finished it
in.
too.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I just finished the quarterback show on Netflix.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Getting me hyped for football, which I have a lot of thoughts on that. I liked it a lot. Would love to talk about it sometime when we have a little bit more time. But other than that, I haven't really been watching any shows, but I did like quarterback, and it's got me in the mood for some football as I still watch some baseball here down the stretch. But that's all I've really been watching. So what about you guys?
I need to watch quarterback, but the only thing I've been watching is Suits, which I think I talked about last time. And I'm on like middle of season 3 or something. I love the show.
Everyone's watching Suits.
I saw, so it broke some record. I think it's under their new CEO, but it has like the most watch time of any show on Netflix under the new CEO. It's like
Yeah.
8.4 billion
Apparently
minutes or
they're like
something.
Wow.
pushing it on everything, no matter what. But
It's like the
Yeah.
main screen when I was watching
Yeah.
quarterback. So
It's always up there. And I like it a lot. I think it's one of those shows that somewhat gets repetitive.
Yeah,
Just kind of the nature of the show, I think. Like you do court cases, like, and then
yeah, it's
there's like
hard
the
to mix it
office
up.
drama, and then it's like, yeah, how much can you actually change this? But Michael Ross is a really cool character.
Yeah, I like
I
Harvey
think I
too.
saw it. I like
Harvey's
Harvey
great.
too. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched Suits. I mean, well, yeah, actually not from the beginning when it was still on like actual TV. I did catch up. But then that last season, I will say it kind of falls off.
I can see that.
And I never finished the last season, watch the first episode, so I'm trying to like restart it and go through it again. But um yeah, it's one of those, it's like, how are they gonna get out of this one? And
Yeah,
then
like
of course they
every
do,
single
but
time they're like, and then they find
yeah.
some loophole, and
Yeah.
Michael Ross remembers a book from like 1951, and you're
Yeah.
just like, all right,
Saw
dude.
the
Yeah.
corner of it on someone's desk.
And they always like find it. They're not doing anything related to law, and then they're like doing something, and then they just like, oh, that's our answer, and then they just like
Yeah.
run away, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever just find it like studying?
Right. It's a great show. Like it's just a fun show,
It
and
is.
it's
It's really fun
easy
to
to
watch.
watch. Don't have to really pay attention. The writing's not like, great, I would say, but it's a good show.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
turn your brain off and enjoy.
Oh, speaking of shows, Oppenheimer, Huey was in it, from The
Oh
Boys.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, another
Told I
So is
guy.
told
Josh
I
Peck.
told yeah, Josh
Oh,
Peck is too. Magda told me about that, but then I was like, wait, is that the guy from The Boys? Is that Huey? She's
Yeah,
like, oh, I think it is. That was a great find too. Great point.
yeah.
speaking
That was
uh,
hilarious.
speaking of other tweets, I saw someone tweeted, it's like, it's just wild. You can watch a movie about an A bomb and you see Albert Einstein that just pans to Josh Peck.
Yeah. I think he
Just
pushed the
like-
button too
Yeah, he
for the
did.
Pretty
test.
sure.
Yeah.
He like started the timer, and if the
The only
voltage
thing
got
he
too low,
did.
he was
Yeah.
supposed to abort.
I actually don't
Yeah.
think he spoke in the entire movie. He just did
I don't
that.
I don't think he did either.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was
Um,
wild that he got that much responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering that they like showed his inner circle and he was not a part of it, like
No, he just
whatsoever.
like came
And there were
around
like
at some
20
point.
like guys in his like crew that were like drawing up that, and they're like, all right,
Yeah.
push this, and yeah, if this goes below this level, like
Yeah.
abort. He's like, all
There's
right,
I feel like there's so many people that should have pressed that button that wasn't Josh Peck, but
right.
Yeah.
Maybe Oppenheimer himself, but
yeah.
not,
Yeah.
not like your 30th man on the crew, but
Right.
that was
Funny.
hilarious. Mhm.
Yeah. It was, anything else, Jay, or just Suits, basically?
Just Suits. Quarterbacks on the list. I keep saying Succession's on the list, but I don't have a plan to start it. So I'm on like I'm like episode 3. Actually, I'm probably just gonna rewatch the first 3 episodes anyway. But yeah, pretty much it right now.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, if you keep with it, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how that goes later seasons. But for
I've
me,
been thinking about joining you, but I'll wait for you to go.
yeah. I finished The Bear.
Oh yeah.
Or that's
It's
great.
only 2 seasons. It's like there's just one episode that's like one of my favorite TV episodes. Maybe not, I mean, not like top 10 or anything, but like it's just great. So finished that. Also did a JD style binge of not the Fast franchise, but Mission Impossible. So I saw that new one in theaters too. I guess I did see that before Oppenheimer, so that was my first one back. But that those movies are really good too. But I have also seen this take online. Like people kind of say it's similar to Fast franchise, which in a way it is. Like it kind of gets repetitive and things, but like it's still so much better movies.
I would agree, and just like they're just
And everything, but
they're way better. They're just way
yeah,
better.
but I mean it is similar. Like, there's a lot of them, and it's action movies, but they're really good. Like I think everyone should give those a shot. They're all on Paramount if anyone has that subscription. Obviously besides the new one, but yeah, I mean if you're looking to just dive deep into a franchise, that one's out there. But yeah, besides that, that's it. That I'm keeping up with. So I gotta start a new show, so we'll see. But yeah, I think that kind of does it for this week. Like we said, we'll be watching Dunkirk, so give that a watch. And then 1998 in 9 for Billboard hits. We'll be giving our favorites there. But yeah, besides that, I think think that does it.
All right. You guys got your assignment. We'll see you next week.
Yep. See you guys.
Yeah.
See you guys.